Read everything, listen to everybody, believe nothing unless you can prove it with your own research. Bo Cooper. Good evening, everybody. It's been a slow week, but that's because I've been doing a lot of driving. Telling you, 3 hours to get to South Dakota is not fun on a 2-lane highway at night, and there's no city lights, so it's you're using the high beams almost over half the time. Okay, sorry. Let's get to the usual. All right. Well, first, let's just get this out of the way. You can always join in on this session using the Zoom meeting. I went ahead and just paid for the year with what I had. I figured, whatever. If you want to donate, you can do so via Bitcoin or Vertcoin. I've had $0 for over 16 months. I've had those up, and you can easily look them up by doing a Vertcoin or Bitcoin Blockchain Explorer. As you can see, I've only had 3 transactions. That's the great thing about it, is you can always look at the transactions. I've taken money out of my Patreon. You can find videos from way back, and this is donated to Susie Dawson when she needed it. And on Vertcoin, of course, you can see that I've had nothing and up to this block. But that being said, people have donated via Google Super Chat, which is awesome, and I thank everyone for that. And you can now do so via PayPal.me at Bon Kim. I've had one person donate so far, and thank you, Mia. And it's at the first video of the month. You know, I disclose the amount that I've gained from PayPal.me donations for that month and total, since I've had that up on September 22nd, 2019. And if you don't have any money to donate, what you can do is please prove Globe Earth and get $15,000 from Zen Garcia, and maybe donate a 10% finder's fee. The link is there. I did an interview with Zen Garcia, so he's a very nice guy. But yeah, you know, something to think about. It should be pretty easy, right? I mean, I'd say 99% of the population of Earth believe in the globe Earth. Okay, what got me to make this video is I did a on-topic video about Matt McKinley, Quantum of Conscious, and he keeps saying things like, let's see, here we go. Things like this. What is that one? Where's that link there? Okay, here we go.
Look, I can say that because I fell for it. I fell for it for a long time, the same stuff. Oh,
oops, this one.
Look, I can say that because I fell for it. I fell for it.
What's up with these links?
Look, I can say that because...
Hold on, give me a second. Why are these links not with the time frame? All right, give me a second here. I haven't even started yet. Oh my goodness. But these links, I have timestamps in them. I guess those links don't have timestamps. Wow, that's a blot. That's a bunch of hooey, if you ask me. What's the point of that? All right.
But there's a lot of different things I want to discuss and remind us how we've been played. And we can't correct the past, but we can learn from our mistakes. And why aren't other truth channels talking about this? So we latch on to something, and we present it then to our friends, family, and neighbors. And we're so... They know how people are going to respond. They know how solid the worldview is and how much they've cemented it. So, but why am I the only one talking about this? I'm telling you guys, the truth community is 80% compromised. And if you consider those that are doing the bidding of the system that don't know they're doing the bidding of the system, they're just doing exactly what the system wants, they're not in on it, yeah, it's like 90% compromised. There for us to notice on purpose so they could play us. And when everybody would they would say, do your own research. No. Anybody that says do your own research at this point is just parroting back what they think they should say, or is completely out to lunch. No, don't do your own research. Listen to me, because I've been researching this shit for 10 years.
All right, so none of that stuff, none of the, oh, listen to me, listen to no one else. Don't do your own research. No. Always do your own research. Don't listen to anyone else. And anyone who's doing that has an agenda. Now, he's not going to really, he's going to say, well, just watch the video of mine. You'll watch everything he says. And you can even watch his own video. That's what I want you to do. Watch his entire video. And it's instead of just teaching people of how he found out the truth, and of course he says, oh, he's just got a gut instinct type of thing. Okay, so how do you kind of get your gut instinct to find out the truth? That'd be helpful to know. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of show you how I do my own research, and you can either follow it or not. And first one is simply, well, actually, where's that? There you go. How to do your own research to find the truth. So I've got a couple of guides. They're pretty loose as far as there's so much that could be incorporated into them. First is identify the official narrative. So whoever is saying something, especially if it's the government or any type of control system, whether it's like the bank, the government, some branch of government, information source like the media, just pretty much anything, or religion is another one. I mean, all of those are going to have an official notice like, hey, look, this is this, and that's that. You're basically, another good way to put it is some type of doctrine or something where if you dare to even question it, you're going to get hammered. It's like that Richard Feynman quote. I'd rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. So they give you an answer and you can't question it. And that right there is just kind of the, okay, I'm going to have to question it. And that's kind of where it all stems. And so let's kind of go into it. So how I do it is I look at the official narrative. For example, if I wanted to know, is the Earth a globe? Proof that Earth is a globe. Proof Earth globe. Do a search on YouTube. Unfortunately, really, the government doesn't really have an official YouTube video. They have just extensions, where they don't control it, or maybe they do, or someone else controls that media source, and they may control parts of the government or people within the government. Anyways, that's one thing. So if I want to find that there's proof of the Earth that it's a globe, what I do want to find is the official proof. At least here is NASA's Michelle Thaler. Now, NASA is a government agency within the United States. So another way to do it is .gov, proof Earth is a globe. So what I want to find out, is there something like whitehouse.gov or congress.gov that tells you this is the Earth, it's a sphere, it's a globe, and that's it. Except they don't do that, which is interesting. You won't find that the proof that the Earth is a globe from White House or Congress or what's that place? The Library of Congress. That too. That's what I meant. you do kind of find out on NASA.gov. So that's usually where I start. That's the official narrative. So if they're telling everyone, "Hey, this is this," then we need to that's where we start. Okay, so who figured out the Earth is round? Here's NASA.gov, and let's see if they offer proof. Well, they don't. They just say it's been known that it has actually been known that the Earth was round since the time of the ancient Greeks, and they give you all of this stuff. They don't give you any evidence that there is. I mean, basically, what you have to do is go and up to the written history of all this stuff, and what do? Do you go to? Is there a written history of the ancient Greeks on a .gov site? No, there isn't, unfortunately. So now you have to rely on secondhand information. So what are your resources for your secondhand information when it's not coming directly from the official narrative, the official source, the official control system? It's not going to be government. They're going to have that history. Most of that history is going to be found in different written accounts everywhere, but most of the time they study all that stuff in universities. So secondary, not your primary information source to research what they're telling you right here, is going to be like a university, a .edu. And that just makes it more difficult. So you don't get the source where they're giving you this saying or whatnot. So you have to go and look for it yourself. So it's like, well, okay, why? That's usually the first question is, okay, so if you're telling us this thing, show us evidence and proof. And they're not. And then at most, you may get something from Big Think. It's, again, a media source, but they're just talking with Michelle Thaler, and she works at NASA.
What are some of the easiest ways that you can prove that the Earth is round? Because apparently this is something that we're debating. I have no idea why. That's a hard thing.
And see, how is it a hard thing? It should be an easy thing. And she's going to say 3 proofs, and a lot of those proofs are going to go back to Pythagoras, and you can even see Carl Sagan say it in his video. Didn't I have it? Yeah, I have it. I'll probably show you that too.
For me to even start talking about, because there are so many proofs that the Earth is round, it's difficult to know where to start. And it's not okay to think that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, and they tell you what to think. Rather than you thinking for yourself, they'll tell you what to think, and you have to accept it. Anyways, official narrative, official source, find it. They're going to talk. She's going to talk about the proofs
that the Earth was a sphere. So let's start with a number for way more than 2,000 years. The ancient Greeks actually had a number of really elegant, wonderful proofs that the Earth was a sphere. So let's start from the simple to the slightly more complicated. One of the things you can see yourself with a pair of binoculars is if you actually go out to a lake and there are boats on that lake, the farther away a boat is, the more the bottom of the boat will disappear, and you'll basically just see the mast of the boat. And as a boat goes farther and farther away, the last thing you will see is the very top of the mast of that boat. And that's because the boat is actually going over the horizon that's curved. And that means that as it goes farther and farther away, you see less and less of the bottom of it and more of the top of that. You can see that with binoculars.
Binoculars or P900s, the Nikon P900, Nikon P1000. So you can go out and do those observations yourself, and most people have done that in the flat Earth community, I guess. All you have to do is Nikon P900 or even the P1000, which zooms a lot further. And let's see. Where's ships horizon. All right, so you'll be able to see a lot of ships over the horizon being zoomed, and you're going to be able to find that you're going to see a lot of it from far away, and that the curvature of the Earth is calculated to be 8 inches per mile squared. So how is it that we're not able to find it? And so one of the things that well, let's see, maybe we'll go back towards here, and let's make it so all right, identify the official narrative we have. Now we're going to go ahead and obtain information closest to the source. So I kind of went over it a little bit. There is no official source of information. The closest you may get is just basically NASA.gov, really. And you say, okay, let's look at photographs from outer space, looking at the Earth, seeing the shape of the Earth, and we're gonna go and look at it. And it's always composite images, and if you don't know what a composite image is, you can go ahead and search for it, but it's not a photograph. And so you were asking, okay, so why don't we have any photographs? Now, anyways, they're not even going to tell you that that's the proof. They're going to tell you, well, let's just start at 2,500 or 2,000 years ago with the ancient Greeks, starting with Pythagoras. And of course, if you watch my Heraclitus versus Pythagoras, the flat plane, the globe Earth, etc., and mystery schools, you're going to kind of have an idea who Pythagoras was. The man behind the curtain. Sorry, it's getting warm. I'm in the basement. It's usually cold when it's cold, but today it was nice and warm, around 74 degrees, so it's not too cold. All right. So, obtain information closest to the source. So we're going to go ahead and analyze NASA.gov, their photographs or composite images and things like that. And let's just kind of question it, right? And then what secondary information as far as history goes, written history, most of it, of course, is captured and released, and if not redacted by these control systems at universities. So we'll look at .edus, and then we'll also look at the media, the mainstream media, because that's what everyone's going to watch. Everyone's going to watch these videos that are that have millions of views, where they say that there's proof. Oh wow, I'm skipping a lot. There's a lot to do here. All right, that big thing has almost 1 million views. You've got all these that have millions of views. You're never going to get an opposing view of something else, and that's very small. It's, I mean, heck, even my video stuff is just barely 10 people here. That's kind of nice. All right. So one of the videos I like to focus on is one that I've done before. And there's a lot to go over, and you could watch it by PBS's Genius by Stephen Hawking show, Fakes Debunking Flat Earth, Why Fake It? And you could just see 3 birds flying over. So basically I watched this video because it's the same thing. You go out yourself over a flat surface, which is water, because they say that's the flattest surface on a globe Earth, where it bulges. Interesting. But anyways, it's pretty flat, as flat as we can see in this when we're on this plane. Now when you watch the video, you're thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. And of course you could watch it. You can't watch it, unfortunately, on YouTube because they block it in the United States, but you can watch it on Amazon.com. Where Are We? Episode 6, and we're gonna get to that first. I've got some timestamps we'll look at. And then we just kind of wonder, okay, so this is the result. We see it go, a helicopter go up and over. I mean, it's going behind, it's falling behind, or I guess landing behind the surface of the water here. And you got another video part where it goes up. And to verify that, for of course, you don't just want to trust me. You want to make sure that you view the source as close to
Help
possible.
everyone explore new worlds.
So, if you're going to watch the information I present to you, you want to go ahead and watch this video yourself. You want to go to timestamp 1311. We'll just go a little bit earlier here. So you've got the helicopter going behind the supposed horizon because of the curvature of the Earth. You don't see it just, you can't just, I mean, it's being blocked because of the curvature of the Earth. And you see these three birds flying. And you go to 1409 timestamp. Well, let's start a little bit early.
I got him.
So the helicopter went up, and you see those same three birds flying across the screen. So unless, man, you could just take snapshots of those two parts frame by frame and go, that's kind of interesting. Three birds, same flight patterns, water moving the same. Yet we got you got one part where the helicopter net reticle is landing, and one is rising, but they're kind of reusing the same footage. That's just weird. It's like, should we trust this information? And then you might want to go look at some other things. I mean, this is just the main part, right? This is the official narrative we're trying to find, is the Earth the globe. So what's one of the proofs? That, well, back, it was proven 2,000 years ago by Pythagoras, that if you watch these ships or objects moving away from the horizon, that you're going to see them disappear slowly over the curve of the supposed Earth, and therefore the Earth is a globe. When you could prove that with the binoculars, or this person used a telescope, or maybe the Nikon P900 or P1000, and you're seeing a lot more people do that, and then they're going to say, well, that's mirage or a refraction or whatever it is. So anyways, they didn't talk about mirages and refractions during the proving of all this stuff. And of course, they didn't have binoculars back in Pythagoras' day. I mean, I would say they were probably invented a little bit before telescopes were invented, probably around the 1400s. Not exactly sure. But regardless, we have written history tells us binoculars were not invented by the ancient Greeks. Okay, and then there's more to it. So let's see if there's any more propaganda fakery. Let's listen.
Anyone can work it out. Let's see if I'm right. I've asked 3 ordinary people to come on a journey of discovery.
All right, 3 ordinary people. I mean, you would think someone, let's see, Cat Bobino, or Babino, 2110. Is Cat Bobino an ordinary person? Is she a scientist? Is she not a scientist?
Feet apart. Up in the sky, the real moon is about 240,000 miles away.
It worked. I'm not a scientist, and to be able to just do that off a whim, and it just came to me, that was incredible.
Okay, so let's look up Cat Babino. That looks like Cat Babino. In the know with Cat. Is she an ordinary person? I mean, she only has 118 subscribers. That's not a very lot. Anyways, Let's see, is she a scientist or not a scientist?
My name is Kat Bobineau, and I am a scientist.
I guess she is a scientist. That's interesting. Okay, so all right, that's just one person. You know, she's reading off a script. You know, but everything else is legit. I mean, let's go ahead and look at the second person who's in there, which is Joy. All right, there's Jim. There's Joy and G. Just take a look how she looks like. Not very difficult to know. I mean, all right. So Joy, and if you look up the PBS page, you can find out her last name is Joy and G. And let's see. Yeah, that looks like Joy and G, right? We go to her Twitter. Well, you're gonna be like, no, that's not the same person, Bond. Anyone could have a Twitter. She just looks like she's produced for NASA, SciComm, right? All right, that you're just pulling at my leg, etc. All right, why don't we go to NASA.gov and let's see who Joy and G is. Her title is Multimedia and Social Media Fellow, Organization Code 130, Office of Communications, Office of the Director. What do you do at Goddard? How do you help support Goddard's mission and transform science research into videos that are understandable to non-experts with your educational background? I earned an undergraduate degree in biology at the University of Nottingham in England and a master's degree in science production at Imperial College London. An ordinary person. What's the percentage of the population in the world with master's degrees? I guess Vox, if you want to take Vox mainstream outlet. They're saying 8% of the population. 8% is ordinary, right? 8% of the population with master's degree. It's quite ordinary, I guess you could say. All right. Well, you know, that maybe it's some other Joy and but even on the .gov site, all right, this is close to the source, you know, NASA.gov's telling you that Earth is a globe. And then you've got someone who works at NASA.gov making that's appearing as an ordinary person in a documentary by Stephen Hawking, who's a renowned mathematician and theoretical physicist. With show PBS with someone who says she's not a scientist, which is Kat Bobineau, and Jim Fitzsimmons. How did you get involved with Stephen Hawking's upcoming television documentary series, Genius by Stephen Hawking? Huh. All right. So there you go. We can kind of identify that mostly there's propaganda involved here and that there's fake re-edited footage occurring at 1311 and 1409. And you can see all that information on many videos, not just mine. And let's see, the makers behind it is Bigger Bang. And you can read more about them and who they are. Let's see what the founders and the head honchos, what they've done in their lives. Are they just kind of individuals like us, ordinary Joes, ordinary schmoes, or are they pretty much involved in some type of control system, you know, hierarchy? Are they, let's see, Ben Bowie, Joint MD and Creative Director, and Ian Riddick, Joint MD and Creative Director. Ben Bowie, formerly Managing Director and Creative Director at Darlow Smith Productions in London, writer, director, executive producer with over 25 years experience. His theatrical figure Hawking kicked off as South by Southwest in 2014, winning the Grand Jury Prize at Jackson's Hole, and a lady, a elephant's tail, and a baby elephant's tail. I said it like two words in one, elephant. Nominated for an Emmy in the Seattle International Film Festival. He has conceived and produced dozens of hours of programming for PBS, Nat Geo, Discovery, Channel 4, and the BBC. That's as mainstream as you can get, huh? And then let's look at the other guy, Ian Riddick, or is it Lane Riddick? I think it's Ian. Hey, Ian! I can't do the Greek wedding thing, right? You guys know what I'm talking about if you guys watch movies. His filmmaking credits include Discovery Channel's landmark historical natural history series, North America. Served as commissioning executive producer for National Geographic Channel International, Discovery US, head of special projects for Darlow Smith Productions. So they've been around for a long time. And so it's not like just a typical someone making a public broadcasting little podcast from the basement of their of their home. And these guys were able to use a helicopter and that nice telescope and get a NASA fellow and a scientist. Jim Fitzsimmons, I haven't really found much about him. I think he might actually be a legitimate, ordinary person. Okay. Now, let's, we've got most of that out of the way. Let's go back a bit. And let's start 987. So we went over obtaining information closest to the source. Now we want to find inconsistencies within the official narrative, which we pretty much did. We found, okay, we went to NASA.gov. They said the Earth was a globe. It was proven over 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece by Pythagoras. You can see NASA's Michelle Thaler saying the same thing, and you can view it with binoculars with your own eyes. And then, and of course, they didn't have binoculars back then in ancient Greece. And that ships going over the horizon will start falling over the curvature of the Earth. That's why you'll see parts of the ship disappearing over this curve. Now, we watched a mainstream documentary with Stephen Hawking, renowned mathematician, theoretical physicist, and some people who have at least 2 decades of working in the film industry with 3 ordinary people. One of them just happens to work at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, Joy, and Kat Bobineau, a scientist who says she's not a scientist and says she is a scientist. And then we see that the video that they show as far as the proof of things disappearing over the curvature of the Earth over water has been doctored. And what's great, oh man, there is Metabunk, which is great. I think there's a Metabunk where they use my video, and my video does not have a lot of views. It has 409 views, but people at Metabunk, they actually used it, right? Because they're looking at Stephen Hawking's genius. Because Stephen Hawking's genius, if you didn't know, at least on YouTube, garnered a lot of views as far as debunking flat Earth. And this can be found in a video I had to upload. Why is PBS YouTube video debunking globe Earth blocked in America? So you would think that, hey, you got something that's blocked in the US, but this is available in the US, unavailable in the US, available in the UK. So there's links, and the link is here: Flat Earth Crushed by Discovery Channel by Alex Churtnick. And you go here, it's unavailable. This video contains content from PBS, who's blocked it in your country on copyright grounds. 3.8 million views, and it's crushing flat Earth. And yet you will realize that if you watch it, and this shows you the entire scenes that I've shown, which you can also see on Amazon, and people just don't realize it. But isn't it funny? Isn't PBS a public broadcasting system founded in the United States, yet we can't watch it in the United States? But everyone else outside our country, we fund, isn't America, United States, funding the public broadcasting station with tax dollars, yet we can't watch the contents from it. But everyone who doesn't pay into it, everyone outside the country can watch it. That just sounds a little bit funny, right? So that kind of leads me also going into the other part, right, which is Note obstructionism towards finding the truth. So there's another part, right? We're checking out. Let's see. All right, that's part of the obstruction, and that's what I wanted. So that's just something interesting. Things that you find over time. So, anyways, going back to this meta bunk, they're looking at it now. If you want to know the difference between someone who's a stoic, who says the truth, versus the opposite, which would be what do you call it? A sophist. You got one where you're just looking for the truth, and the other is you're looking to persuade people away from the truth into whoever's wanting something from others. They're going to find a way to persuade you to seeing it their way rather than seeing the actual truth. So the difference between a philosopher and a sophist. Did a video on that, which you can always watch. Now, finally, so basically, in that video that I have, this is as honest as I can put it. It's not persuading. I'm just showing you. This is the show, PBS Genius by Stephen Hawking. It fakes debunking of flat Earth, but why would you fake it? And now what I want people to do is to do their own research on it. And this is great. Is you got this guy Rory. He says, "Hey, just saw this video claiming to show that the Hawking helicopter is faked using some repeating birds as proof." And he shows the source. First glance is very interesting. 3 birds in the same places flying the same pattern on 2 different shots. Now, I have information on it, and that's what's great, is leave information where people could find it on your own with links, where they can look at it and make their own decision on it. So he goes, first thought that it had been doctored, which he's saying that I doctored it, but there's an original copy here, and it shows the same thing. And here is going towards the Alex Chertnick video that's blocked in the United States. And of course, this is March 2019. Glitch in the Matrix, or just one of those in a million coincidences. And then Mendel, Roy, it's not just the birds, the water patterns are the same on a debunked video frame by frame as well. And it seemed to me that the birds were flying slightly differently in the original footage. I want to see a frame by frame comparison done on the official video, not a YouTube bootleg from uncertain sources. Great. I'm an uncertain source because they don't watch me. They don't watch any of the things I do. So direct them towards the official source. So that's another thing that what important step is. I'm going to move real quick because it's illustrating exactly what people should be doing. Is started with 6, right? You want to note obstructionism towards finding the truth. Now, most people would say, don't look there, look here. You don't want to look there. You want to look over here. Don't cherry pick. No. They want to redirect you, obstruct you, whatever. People who want to find the truth is, hey, this is what I found. Take a look for yourself. Let me know what you think. This gets me to kind of the number 5, and this is pretty much it. Seek others who have found similar findings. So it's trading notes. It's like if you do an experiment. It's like, hey, I did this little experiment, scientific experiment. I want to know if you have the same results. This is what I did. Tell them whatever. Do it on your own time. Do it one time. Do it 100 times. Do it 1,000,000 times. I want you to scrutinize my findings, because the harder you try to prove me wrong and you can't do it, it really solidifies the results. And so you've got the opposite, which is like, a lot of people saying, look, you're not allowed to test it. You're not, your findings are wrong. It's not an official finding. They're gonna go however way in order to delegitimize your findings, and they'll use credentials and pretty much, again, obstructionism towards finding the truth. They're gonna tell you, look, you're just not worthy to do your own research or something like that, right? It's bullshit, but that's just the way it goes. Now, what's great here is so yeah, they're just let's assume this person has an agenda. Now let's go to the source. Perfect. That's what people need to do. And it says if it's the same, the production team should be contacted. Maybe the actual telescope footage was unusable for some reason, so they did a mock-up. Possibly the film crew filmed it from a higher elevation by mistake. And of course, they want to know more information, which is great. I didn't contact the people who made the documentary, but if people do, that is awesome. Get questions. See if we'll see if Rory or Mendel find obstructionism within there. Sorry, we're not going to comment on the video. Maybe that's what they get, or they'll get an explanation. But are they going to find obstructionism, or are they going to get answers that they're wanting, so they can find out the truth? Deirdre, moderator, staff member, I can't figure out a way to go frame by frame on Amazon. This is so annoying. So I froze as close as I could. Edit finally got the same water look. I'll leave the original samples I posted attached. So yes, the CT video is using authentic footage. So not only did I capture it and other people capture it, but Deirdre captured it as well. Now, Discovery Science, they went to the Discovery Science to get pictures of it in snapshots, and they did the same thing. They got it 644, 741. Again, this is the Alex Chertnick video. It's blocked in the United States. Deirdre, this is probably the vid they got their snags from, which appears to be the whole vid. Actually, I got mine directly from the Amazon video on PBS. And as you can see, a motorboat is going through immediately after the last shot. Again, this source is Flat Earth crushed by Discovery Channel, Alex Chertnick, and again, blocked in the United States. Rory, source, for those looking for the birds in this copy, they first come across at 643 and then again 741. That's the Alex Chertnick video. Deirdre, all the timestamps are included in my screen grabs, which is great. They're sharing their findings and providing the source timestamps and things like that. Rory, so they are. I ended up scrolling through to find them when I could have just looked at your images. Oops, I'd actually linked that to my vid in the original post, but the only word here, which I guess is easily missed, I have to stop doing that. I'm sorry too. And then Deirdre goes, it's a good wake-up call. I've been writing lately, like people can read my mind, know my intentions. I edited it anyways. Mendel, so now that we know the video was manipulated, someone has different findings, which is the great part about it. Is again, let's switch back real quick. Is seek others who have found similar findings. So even though they noticed from my video, I didn't really trying to persuade them. I just asked a question, and they just did their own research, and they go, well. Okay, so now we know that the video was manipulated, Mendel. It seems that Bass in Your Face and Mick West might have had their numbers correct with a hint like that, height like that, and all this other stuff. And then you get someone who else comes in. This show was a bit of entertainment in the matter of a reality show. See that? Just that the reframing of the narrative. It's just a reality show. It's entertainment. No need to take it seriously. Honestly, Hawking was a bit of a media tart. And Rory is, are we saying that it is manipulated? Has that been shown yet? If so, what's the explanation? Why would they do that? That's a very good question. Always question. I mean, first off, you look at the official narrative. Find information closest to the source. If you can't do that, you're gonna have to just keep trying. And are you gonna? Is there is there something that's just find the inconsistencies, and you found the inconsistencies. Now you want more answers because you've got more questions. Now, is there going to be obstructionism involved, or are you going to be able to find the answers? And then say you do, and you go through the entire premise of finding the answer. And that's what usually journalists should be doing, or should have been doing for a long time. They probably meant obstructionism, right? And we don't see that now. And why does it take a journalist with credentials to have to find the truth? Well, no, you don't. You can figure out the truth for yourselves. But I mean, why, if they're going to give that answer to that journalist, someone with that credentials, and that journalist is going to tell everybody else, why didn't they just tell everyone else in the first place and not have to leave it out for someone else to actually find? Anyways, Mendel here goes, Deidre confirmed that the identical water wave patterns that I saw on a debunk video can also be found on an Amazon version. I was asking for this to prove the legitimacy of the debunk video, which proves via several frames that the patterns coincide. See below for the video reference and some screenshot. Thank you, you're welcome. To me, the wave pattern on the lake is random enough that I can't randomly coincide with the same pattern a few seconds later with the same birds, and confess that the sequence was duplicated in editing. Great. So something and of course they'll want to go ahead, and anyways, it's just great that some material out there that there are people out there using them, and they're coming up with their own conclusions, and I can go back and search and look and see what their conclusions are. It's like, yeah, okay, doctored, faked, manipulated. It's not just me, and I had no involvement with these people. So that's pretty much it. I mean, there's also more you could do searches for. It's like, you basically don't stop searching. That's the thing. When you do research, you keep searching. And you might want to go, sometimes there's people out there like, I don't really know flat earth doctrine, but I found this video, and he lists 44 government documents, and he says they admit flat earth, and there's his website, and he gives out links. And so he gives out the page number, the title, the page number, and what they may be saying. So like, I'd go, and this is of course from CIA.gov, library reading room docs, page 20, near sun halo, also from the sun on the surface perpendicular to these rays. The dissertation contains a certain formula of the brightness of the sky, taking into consideration only the brightness of the first order, and derived on the assumption of a flat earth, and giving some conclusions derived on the basis of this formula. And I've done a video on this where government, especially research governments by the army and stuff like that, they keep saying, let's assume that the earth is flat and non-rotating with all these calculations. It's like, what? Why do you guys want to? I thought you guys have known that the earth is a globe, and wouldn't it be good to make sure that you calculate into the curvature of the earth to get the most exact calculation as possible? And here's a NASA.gov article. It's two of them. NASA.gov, Centers, Dryden, two different ones. And this one we can do a search for rotate. Is that right? Or did I move it out? Let's see. This is going to be on page 10 of 16. Search isn't always great on PDFs because it's based on visual. Let's see what they say. What he says here. Non-rotating. Here we go. It is right there. You do search for it. So, the DPS equations of motion use four assumptions that simplify the program while maintaining its fidelity for most maneuvers and applications: point mass modeling, non-turbulent atmosphere, zero-side forces, and a non-rotating Earth. Wouldn't it be important to have calculate the rotating Earth? But if we have to assume that it's not rotating. I mean, things that you could look up for yourself I don't want to go ahead and do that for you. Sometimes I do. Other things is like, okay, let's look at some more pictures of Earth in from their rocket ships that have sped past or something like that. And you got basically a lot of it's from NASA.gov. Blue Marble Next Generation. This one is interesting. It's like by Rito Stockley, October 13th, 2005. This is earthobservatory.nasa.gov, published October 13th, 2005. Archive content, no longer being updated. And in celebration of the deployment of its Earth observation system, NASA is pleased to share the newest in this series of stunning Earth images, affectionately named the Blue Marble. This new Earth imagery enhances the Blue Marble legacy by providing a detailed look at the entire year in the life of our planet. And sharing these Blue Marble images, as hopes the public will join with the agency in continuing exploration of our world from the unique perspective of space. So they got this, and you know, we could go here for the screen, which is right here. We could, oh, I didn't do that. Okay, we'll go here. It's like, how did they get this photograph or maybe image from space without all the clouds? That's amazing. They found one perfect day without all the clouds in space, and this is what the Earth really looks like on a clear sunny day all over the Earth. Or, what do you think? Well, what do I think? I mean, I'm the one thinking about it. And of course, what are you thinking? Right? Now, what they do is they have it so, okay, you use that and you add in your lights, you add in your sun shine, I guess, you add in your shadows, you add in your clouds or overlays. You know, you make it what you want with that Blue Marble of theirs. So they hand that out, and that's where you basically all the stuff that you get, the images. That's what they're there for. Enhancements. So enhancements. Blue Marble Next Generation offers greater spatial detail of the surface and spans a longer data collection period than the original. The original Blue Marble was a composite of 4 months of MODIs. Again, composite. Observations with a special resolution. So they're admitting the original Blue Marble was a composite. It wasn't a photograph. The Next Generation offers a year's worth of monthly composites at a spatial resolution of 500 meters. These monthly images reveal season changes to the land surface, greening up and dying vegetation. Anyways, it's all of that is composite information. None of it is a photographic montage or anything like that. So it makes you wonder about all the photos that we see about Earth in space with the globe. There are no photographs. Everyone that believes that the original Blue Marble was a photograph from space, they're just admitting that it wasn't, that it was a composite of 4 months of MODIs observations, and this is coming from NASA.gov itself. So again, looking back at the source. And then, you know, what is a composite image? Compositing is the combining of visual elements from separate sources into single images, often to create the illusion that all those elements are parts of the same scene. Live action shooting for compositing is variously called chroma key, blue screen, green screen, and other names. So they're just taking different parts of things, combining them into a shot, so it makes you think that there's something there or not there. That's what it is. So something admitted, and you're going to see a lot of things admitted by government officials. And anyways, let's I'll kind of look through chat. Quite a lot of chatter. I'll probably read through. So anyways, let's just do a overview. How did the urine research define the truth? 1, identify the official narrative. 2, obtain information closest to the source. 3, find inconsistencies within the official narrative. 4, note obstructionism towards finding the truth. And 5, seek others who had found similar findings. That's pretty much it. That's just kind of what I do. I leave it at that. I just look at the official narrative, find the closest information to the source, find the inconsistencies, I find obstructionism or I note that. I don't really, I can take that into account, but I just want to know what other people's thoughts are. And, I try to look for others who have that. So instead of me going right away, like if I find any other video, it's just like the people in the Metabunk, right? It's like, hey, I don't know this guy, let's assume that the person with the debunked video, edited the video or, is an uncertain source. Same thing if I'm looking at Flat Earth Doctrine. I don't know him. I can't trust him. But what is he providing? He's providing me government documentations from the source. How do I know that they're the government documentations? Well, they're on .gov sites. CIA.gov, NASA.gov, he gives me like army.mil. We've seen all those before. I've already shown you. So, okay, now I'm looking into it. I can make up my own mind. Awesome. So that's your own research. I'm not looking at some unofficial narrative. Like, who cares with some YouTuber who has no name, who has no face, whether he or she has millions or less than 100 views or subscribers, doesn't matter. Treat it all the same way. And so that's it. And again, you can look in the description box on YouTube. You could look at it on vim.tv. You can join me and we could talk about things, what you like, what you don't like, anything like that. And let me go ahead and look at the chat. Wow, it's a lot of chat. Oh, wow, I have to go back far. Let me start at the beginning. There's a lot of new people in this chat. This is pretty interesting. And a lot more people I'm starting to see join and watch. Anyways, there's too much here. I'm gonna have to read it afterwards, but just watching you guys just chatting away at each other. Eagle playing an anchor, Negatorex, Jersey G81, and Dave Wong. It's good. Ian Ellis LLC. It's good that everyone talks to each other. That's good way to finding the truth. I would rather have someone who looked into each of these sources, made up their own mind, and then have a conversation about it, than talking to someone saying, hey, I watched this video and this other person demonstrates, everything, and I believe him. So, based off of that, Ebon, you're wrong. I can't have a conversation with you. Because you haven't looked into any of the official narrative documentation closest to source, all that stuff, experienced any obstructionism in trying to find the truth and all these things, which we can compare notes. Like, imagine we talked about it and then I go, well, I tried finding this, but every time I go there, I get blocked. I sent emails, I called, but I didn't get any information. And then someone goes, I did the same thing, but I got a reply. I'm like, oh, awesome. Someone else did something, they got a reply. All right, what did they say? Right? That's just incredible. So yeah, that's stuff that I enjoy. And some of the things that I go on about as far as more of the metaphysical stuff, I have to do the same thing. It's like, figure something out. I don't know if it's true or not, but I have questions. So I look around. Other people out there have the same experience. So I'm like, all right, let's compare notes. Tell me about your experience. I'll tell you mine. Let's compare notes. Let's talk. What does it mean? Do we have it figured out? All this other stuff. And the only problem is when you do that, sometimes people are busy, or they say that they want to talk with you and they don't end up doing so. Just because reasons, but that's fine. I think within time, you'll sync up eventually, right? So yeah, this is it. That's kind of how I do things. Oh, we got someone from D Live. Say him 420. How's it going? Hi, follow me. Let's see. I'll take a look. Visit channel. Got YouTube as well. Let's look at replays. Videos? I don't know. Let's see. Well, you follow me, I'll follow you. I'll see what you talk about when when I have time to look. Right. Let's see. Whew. An hour. Wow, that was a fast video. Usually these things take for like 2-3 hours. I kind of want to leave it out there so you guys can just chat amongst yourselves. But you guys don't have to chat on a live chat. You guys can actually come in. I could step away while you guys talk amongst yourselves. Like, you guys don't have to show your video. Like, if you don't have a camera or you don't want to use your smartphone video, you can actually just talk to each other, which is what we should do. And just compare what your findings are. It's great. I like watching people, listening to people. But the intent of this video is just to question the official narrative. Do your own research. And in doing your research, you can find out whether they are telling the truth or if they are not telling the truth. And if they aren't telling the truth, why aren't they telling the truth? But pretty much in the least, you know the truth. You don't need to know the why. You just need to know, well, are they telling the truth or are they lying? You could do that with anything. Any person says something to you, and then you find out later that they lied, and you've got evidence that they lied. And then you could go and ask him, so why did you lie? Right? First part, before you can ask that question, you have to find out whether they have lied or not. So that's the entire purpose of this. And that's easy. You just do your own research. If someone says something to you and your friend goes, oh, that person's lying. It's like, why? Why do you think that person's lying? It's gut feeling. Matt McKinley, Quantum Conscious. I have a gut feeling, and I trust my gut. I need something more than just your gut feeling. I guess I'll go and find out for myself whether that person's lying or not. Perfect, right? Or maybe someone else is there too. They go, oh, that person's telling the truth. Like, how do you know that person's telling the truth? Well, I trust that person. So, why do you trust that person? That person's never lied to me. How do you know that person's never lied to you? Have you ever tried finding out if that person lied to you or not? No, I just trust that person. So why would I want to look into seeing if that person lied or not? So it's like, I can't handle these two people. One telling me to trust that person, and the other person telling me not to trust that person. It's like, you have to look for it yourself. Anyways, yeah. Well, interesting. I think I hit a nerve. But it's good. It's good. I love watching the chat. But yeah, it's the thing is, even if you guys block, you guys can see what you guys are all still chatting to each other. You know, as long as I don't block you, right? So, oh, we got a guest, Tim. How's it going, Tim? Hello, Tim.
Ahoy, hoy.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Not bad.
So where are you from? Tell us about yourself. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's the best place to debunk the flat Earth and actually prove the spherical Earth, bar none, on Earth, I think.
Okay. So where are you from?
Originally from Nebraska, then I spent most of my childhood in Texas and moved around to Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and then in my later life I've been between San Diego and Denver, and now I also reside mostly in Utah.
Okay. So so you're not questioning the official narrative. You're taking them for their word.
No, I've already questioned it, man. I've been in the flat Earth for basically coming up on 5 years now, and I've tested the claims and the assertions of people, and basically what I found out is that it's just a load of nonsense, and what they are telling us and what the scientists are telling us, what the governmental agencies are telling us, what science for hundreds, if not thousands of years has been telling us is actually correct. And I don't actually believe that this could be something that they could hide, as it is testable by walking outside and looking at things like the northern celestial point, the southern celestial point, the equatorial star trails, the equinox observations, as Neg said in the chat, the sun rising, the sun setting, the sun not changing angular size throughout the day, the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse. All of this stuff makes sense on a sphere, and none of it makes sense on a flat Earth. So until flat Earth can actually have some kind of a representation of what they're trying to purport, I'm going to go with what makes way more sense and actually has 100% predictive capability.
So the watching objects in the distance go over the curve of the Earth over water. And when we were observing that with your eyes and with some telescopics, either it's binoculars or telescope or camera like the Nikon P900, P1000, and when we don't see those ships or even stationary objects that should be disappeared over the curve of the Earth, which is 8 inches per mile squared, you're saying you're seeing them disappear over the curve of the Earth, or are you saying that there's refraction involved, or it's a mirage? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have some of what I think as some of the best observations, as I am near the Great Salt Lake, which is a huge body of water, about 60 miles from longest end to end. And basically, I can look, and I've done it many times throughout the year in all different types of conditions with the P900, with a Nikon D3200, with a Phantom 4 Pro. And what I see is the very, very, very level, sometimes glass-like water coming up and obstructing Salt Lake City. And not only that, myself and Jesse Kozlowski went out with two $20,000 GPS units, went across the Bonneville Salt Flats, which are supposedly flat, got Cartesian XYZ coordinates from ECEF, Earth-centered Earth-fixed coordinate, and you can actually plug that in and see that there's a drop in which you can actually calculate very simply to what we did was within 0.5% of the Earth's radius.
So you're saying you didn't see them from that distance? The curve of the water blocked that view?
You know what? I think I can screen share here in Zoom.
Yeah,
I can go and grab. Yeah, I'll grab my hard drive here, and we can pull up some epic videos and pictures from the Nikon P900.
So what what of other people who've made that same observation and they've seen objects not disappear over this curvature, supposed curvature?
Every time that there's a flat Earth video that says, "Oh, we can see too far," there are videos countering it. So just in terms of, let's just say Jay Tolman Media, myself, I've done 3 videos on his where he's looking 123 miles at Mount San Jacinto, and he can only see the top 3,000 feet of that, even though he's about 187 feet up near Malibu, looking 123 miles,
So
like I said.
I thought you said that the proof of the Earth being a globe is 100%. So if other people are seeing that there is no curvature, yet you and others say that there is, then it's not 100%, is it?
What I said was you went to observations after I basically talked about
Because we're just talking about observation. I just want a simple answer. If it's not 100% observable by people all over the world, then it's not 100% that it is a spherical Earth as the mainstream, I guess, say it is, that the government says it is, although they don't quite say it is that way. So
you're saying that there are anomalous people out there that have caught things that you think
yes, that's what they're sharing.
believe.
It doesn't matter what I think; it's just what I observe. It's what they observe, what you observe. So if you observe something,
no, I don't observe that. I'm telling you right now. I've been.
I know
out to
you're
the
telling me.
Salt Lake. Well, I can show you pictures and videos.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures and videos of others, and I've seen things myself. So if your observations aren't repeatable 100%, does that mean that it's still 100% accurate?
I've repeated them many times, so I don't know what you mean
yes,
by.
I know, but if it's not now,
you keep interrupting me. Ivan. Let's have a conversation. Dude.
I am having a conversation. I just want to answer, and you're not answering me. So if it's not repeatable by others, then there's something to look into. Isn't that correct?
I've asked others to come over to the Great Salt Lake. I've asked Jaron in a private conversation that we had that I've published. I've also asked one of the guys from BC, I think Canada. I forget his name at the moment, but he was actually in Salt Lake. I said, "Hey, I'll drive us out there. Hey, you can use my P900. You can use my drone. You can use my equipment to do these observations." But he would rather party than actually come and do it. So I've invited many flat earthers, vegan warriors.
Are you saying you can only observe the flat or the curvature of the Earth in Great Lakes? You can't do it anywhere else in the world?
No, it's actually just a very unique spot to actually do it, to get very clear conditions over very, very level, very shallow water for miles and miles. There's nothing like this.
So are you saying it's the one place where it's perfect conditions to see the curvature of the Earth 100% of the time? But nowhere else you can observe it. It has to be there.
Soundly did hundreds of observations that still have not been refuted.
I know you don't like answering yes or no questions, but I mean, if things are 100% proven and accurate, like you're saying, then there should be a simple yes or no answer, right?
Is there 100% provability of what you've seen other people do? You haven't done anything.
I'm not saying that for other people. You've just stated that you've got 100% accuracy of what they've been stating for over 2,000 years. Accuracy. Yes, you did. I could rewind it like 10 minutes right when you joined.
Ivan, let's have a conversation.
I'm having a conversation.
Okay, interrupt me. I'm just saying that when I talked about the celestial sphere, the northern celestial point, the southern celestial point, the equatorial star trails, the equinox observations, the sun not changing in angular size throughout the day, rising and setting. This is something that we can all go and do basically on a daily basis for the most part. Some of these.
We can all go and do. Now, does that mean we could do that anywhere in this Earth, or does it have to be at Great Lakes where you're at that unique place?
Celestial sphere observations, the celestial objects in the sky, tell us that we're on a sphere, and everybody can do it on any point of the Earth. Yes.
How do they tell us that we're on a sphere?
Because there's a northern celestial point and there's a southern celestial point. In the northern hemisphere, all of the stars go counterclockwise around the northern celestial point. In the southern hemisphere, they go clockwise around the southern celestial point. So
what's the northern celestial point?
What?
What's the northern celestial point?
It's basically Polaris.
What's the southern celestial point?
Sigma Octans.
And it's non-move. It doesn't move at all.
It's not Sigma Octan. I mean, Polaris is a little bit better. It's more closer to the northern celestial point, but Sigma Octans is a little bit different. It's a little bit off, and plus, it's not as bright as Polaris, but it's there, and you can observe it.
Okay, so it's just not as good as Polaris, is what you're saying. Hi, Ian Ellis, or who is Ian Ellis?
I don't know. Anyway, this is the observations that I continue to get here on the Great Salt Lake. Like I said, I tested it throughout the year. This is basically fucking A. Hold on, sorry. This is Salt Lake City from 27 miles away. There's 150 feet of land that goes up to basically the base of those buildings. And as you gain in altitude, you just walk up a little beach. You can see this with your eyes, dude. But it's helpful to have a camera. It's being obstructed by water that is extremely, extremely level. So why would you say that would be a flat Earth?
Well, it's not 100%.
What is 100%? You think flat Earth is 100% because you watched a few videos, dude? Come on, man.
No, I never said it was 100%. I took the side of the flat Earth because the official narrative saying it's a globe, and I found out that there's inconsistencies with the official narrative, and therefore I can't take that side because they're obviously lying. Now, to find observations that I'm seeing, I thought you're cutting me off now. So the observations that I'm seeing, it's not 100% one way, it's not 100% the other way. But that pretty much means that the official narrative has its inconsistencies where they're saying it's 100% this, and if it's not 100% that, then it's not that. So that's therefore, it's not a globe, it's not a sphere.
You're misunderstanding how percentage works, though.
When it's not 100%, that means it's not 100%. It's
no,
not
because
difficult.
you're taking all 7 billion people of Earth and putting all their opinions into.
I'm not putting their opinions on the line. I'm putting the official narrative on the line.
No, because you're comparing a
yes,
bunch of.
Yes. I mean, you don't have to use rhetoric in order to tell me what I'm saying. I'm telling you exactly what I'm saying.
Listen,
you don't have to put words in my mouth.
If people perform the same test. If these guys go to Salt Lake City, like he's saying, they will get the exact result he got. That's 100%.
Now you can't. Now you're saying that it only has to be here, only in this one particular spot.
No,
you can't. You can't prove this anywhere else.
I told you of a place I personally went to, and you can see my screen right now. This is what it looks like through the P900 through video. At about, I think this is about 5 foot right here. But basically, I went to Lake Tahoe, which is in California. I've also been to Texas to do star observations and other things. And there's people like Soundly, who's in Louisiana, and he's looking north-south. I'm looking east-west doing these observations. And this is just towards Salt Lake City. I do all types of observations in different directions at mountains and everything. Fucking A. Sorry. And so there's people all over the place. If you're not indoctrinated to the flat Earth mean,
indoctrinated. Look, I'm not indoctrinated in anything. I'm just looking at the official narrative.
What is happening here, though?
What is happening here?
This matches, and it has actually. I can bring up Walter Bislin's.
But didn't you just have a photo of it where you saw 100% of the at a distance, where that the water wasn't covering the city?
Yeah, that's the control image to show you what's actually missing. So that's on Antelope Island at a high altitude, closer to that, so that I can compare them. So I have a 1.5 foot, I have a 5 foot, a 25 foot, and then I go on to Antelope Island to show you what's missing.
And it fluctuates. You're saying that they're
with altitude. Yeah, and it matches the sphere. Isn't that interesting?
And that's going to be 100% everywhere else
why
in
do you
this
keep going
world,
with
or
100%?
just in the Great Lakes?
Why do you keep going with 100%? Because we both
Because
know that
you said it's 100%, but if it's only at this particular spot, now isn't that?
look, if you're going to continue to misrepresent or
I'm
not
not
understand what I'm
misrepresenting.
saying,
If the Earth, if the
I told you when I told you 100%, okay, I was talking about the celestial observations.
you're talking about 2,000 years of history and an official narrative, you're saying it's 100% true. We've got that recorded on live stream.
Okay, what was I talking about in regards to when I said 100%? Do you remember?
Yeah, we could just go back.
What did I say?
Here,
What was I
I'll just go ahead and replay it so people can watch it. Listen to it for
I just
themselves.
told you what I was talking about. You must not be listening.
I was listening. That's why I'm saying.
So I'm
Someone
talking
that-
about Salt Lake City when I bring up 100%. I'm talking about Salt Lake City, right?
Method well.
Is that it? Is that when I said 100%, Ivan?
Well, we just go back and listen to it.
Ivan, I was speaking of the celestial observations that are mapped on things like Stellarium and other places, okay? Those are mapped to basically 100%, okay? I just told you what I was talking about. Salt Lake City things, you keep trying to conflate the two.
No, I'm not conflating.
So I wasn't talking about the celestial observations. I was talking about Salt Lake City when I brought up 100%.
Okay.
How could you tell him what his theory
so where are you from?
That makes no sense. He's telling you what he believes.
Originally from Nebraska. Then I spent most of my
Or how is it not your fault for misunderstanding what he said?
Hold on, I can't hear. We're gonna mute OBS real quick. Hold on, fellas. Let's see. I'll unmute after I do the playback here.
And moved around to Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. And then in my later life, I've been between San Diego and Denver. And now I also reside mostly in Utah.
Okay. So, so you're not questioning the official narrative. You're taking them for their word.
No, I've already questioned it, man. I've been in the flat Earth for basically coming up on 5 years now, and I've tested the claims and the assertions of people. And basically, what I found out is that it's just a load of nonsense. And what they are telling us, and what the scientists are telling us, what the governmental agencies are telling us, what science for hundreds, if not thousands of years has been telling us is actually correct. And I don't actually believe that this could be something that they could hide, as it is testable by walking outside and looking at things like the northern celestial point, the southern celestial point, the equatorial star trails, the equinox observations, as Neg said in the chat, the sun rising, the sun setting, the sun not changing English size throughout the day, the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse. All of this stuff makes sense on a sphere, and none of it makes sense on a flat Earth. So until flat Earth can actually have some kind of a representation of what they're trying to purport, I'm going to go with what makes way more sense and actually has 100% predictive capability.
Okay, so 100% predictive capability. So anywhere, that's what you said. That the and I played it back. You're unmuted now. So is that
in regards to what?
100% predictability of everything he just said? Scientists, government agencies, history.
Wow.
So you're saying that everything you're going to always see the globe curvature, wherever you're at around the globe. 100%.
Listen, dude, I've tested it. I've tested hundreds of observations in Lake Tahoe, in Texas, here in Utah, many, 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 many times. I took two $20,000 GPS units, getting ECEF, XYZ Cartesian coordinates, and it all matches up to the information that I've got. So look, I've even taken a drone. This is looking the other way, not towards, for fuck's sake, looking towards the different way. And this is a drone video, basically. And this mountain, if you look to the right, it's like mid-right. There's going to be a mountain that starts to pop up. This is 37 miles away. So I'll go ahead and play it. Look at this water. This water looks like glass, dude. So when I continue to go up and up, I start to see the features of the mountain that are hidden by the very, very level water that's only a few feet deep for 37 miles. You start to see this. I have hundreds of videos of this. Okay.
So I'm going to ask the same question, but maybe try it a different way. So 100% predictive ability for finding the curvature of the Earth. That means that if anyone anywhere else in this world tries to look at the curvature that you're seeing, that they're going to find the curvature 100%, despite any conditions.
Here in Salt Lake, I've tested throughout the year.
So I'll take that as a no.
I don't find, and I've never had any flat earth, and I've asked several of them, as I've already told you. I've told them to come out here, and none of them have come out here because this place absolutely destroys flat earth. Okay? So all of my observations point towards the earth being a sphere. None of it looks like it's flat. Okay? That's just my truth, dude. And we can talk about 9/11. We can talk about the bullshit that happened on that day. We can talk about all kinds of stuff because I'm in the know when it comes to that stuff. I'm not just this fucking mainstream cuck, dude. I've been in the conspiracy crowd probably longer than you. I'm just saying.
How do you do your own research to find the truth?
I go out and test things myself. I don't watch YouTube videos all day and pretend like the earth is flat, Yvonne. I've actually tested it myself. I'm trying to tell you this right now.
So you don't. So you test the validity of the argument from the official narrative, and when you test it, you don't find any inconsistencies at all?
And the validity of flat earth, yes. When it comes to the earth being a sphere, it's demonstrably a sphere. Game fucking over, dude. Go test it yourself, man.
I have, and I find inconsistencies. I don't get the 100% accuracy rating that you state.
Well, nobody's epistemology says that things have to be 100%, including science. It's not a probabilistic 100% or no go. It's not a false dichotomy like that, dude.
It's not?
No. It's not 100% in science, dude. It's like until a better theory comes out to disprove what we think is the best theory.
But
then we can actually do that.
So then that would make it 100% until it's disproved, right?
No.
No? So you're saying it could be 75% until it's disproved, but went to 25% of the times that the experiment was conducted that would disprove it? I mean, there's one thing as far as being 100% until it's not. The other thing is the probability of it being something is quite different than it is something. I don't know if you're muted or not. It looks like you're muted. Well, we're gonna, I guess, conclude this part. We'll have conversations again. You guys can always come on when I'm doing these live streams, and it'd be nice to get some answers in a conversation, because that's part of having a conversation. I mean, I know you guys do your own videos, or at least you do, Tim, and there you can just present your whatever you want to present. But here I do like to talk, if we don't want to segue into something else, and part of this talking is to trying to get to the truth of the matter. Like, if you want me to watch something of yours, and I have watched a couple of your videos, just tell me what to watch, come on in, and we can talk about what we've talked about. But then if I don't get any answers when I ask questions, then it's almost like I'm talking on deaf ears. But anyways, thank you for joining, Tim, and thank you for joining who is Ian Ellis, and everyone else who's watching. Thank you, and we'll see you guys another night, and hopefully we get to have a conversation.